Hello, and welcome everyone back to Starlight Talks. I'm here this week with Adam Faison, who's
Hello, you got it right.
yeah,
Woo! I mean, you guys, we should at this point because we've known each other for a while.
who's gonna be in the new Freeform show. Everything's gonna be okay on January
Woo!
16th. So go
Woo!
follow him and go follow Everything's Gonna Be Okay on all of social media for all that fun stuff. And the reason why we're talking about the show is it's gonna feature three characters with autism who are played by three actors with autism. Um, and you met Lillian, obviously, who's we
Yes.
talked a lot about that. That on the past live stream with her about acting, and we talked about filmmaking with different people on the spectrum, and so so it's a really cool story. You all should check out. It has a lot of authentic representation, not just our autism community, but a lot of other communities as well, with characters that break stereotypes. So it's a very exciting show that I get to talk about with Adam. And then I've also we're releasing dates really soon for there's a new support group that I'm gonna run on we do support groups Thursday nights. So I'm gonna be running a women's support group once a month. So you can go on to autism.com, click on the calendar to see all the different support groups we have. I can't remember which one, if there's one this upcoming Thursday, but we have support groups um, for adults on the spectrum. Um, and then we have the coffee support group for parents who have loved ones on the spectrum. And then we have, of course, our socials coming up next Tuesday. I believe the 10th is our game night. So go register for all our cool events tonight. And this month we have, for our excursion for the social, we have a end of the year celebration. I think those are all of our events, but if there's more, go check out the calendar. And yeah, we have a lot of fun stuff coming up. So register for all those. Yeah, and come back. Yeah, I'm doing a live stream next week. And then after that, it's Christmas and then New Year's. So I'm taking those 2 weeks off. So yeah, so come back next week. I do live streams every Wednesday, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So if you're on the East Coast, that would be 10 o'clock. And it's always related to something to do with the autism community. So if you're just joining us, I'm here this week with Adam Faison, who is an actor who's going to be on the show Everything's Gonna Be Okay, which is going to premiere on Hulu and Freeform in January.
Yes, January 16th. Fast approaching.
Yeah. So my first question I want to ask you was joining the show your first real experience learning about the autism community?
So joining the show, this wasn't my first opportunity actually to kind of explore the autistic community. My mom, as we've had conversations before, and also with your mom too, and everything. We and Lillian, obviously, we talked about. But yeah, my mom, she grew up working with kids with autism since we were kids, even before we were kids. So she was a social worker and then also worked with kids with special needs at the Jewish Community Center down in San Diego. So, yeah, from a pretty young age, my mom was really big into inclusion. Like, that was the whole name of her department, was like literally the inclusion department, still is, at the Lawrence Family JCC in San Diego. Shout out to them. And yeah, just basically, my mom was always really big about inclusion and like also just not seeing that like us as different, and I think it sort of had like a really formative impact on like how I think in particular relate to this show, just in the sense that I mean, yeah, I think it's been such a long time coming, and I learned so much from just y'all and from Kayla, just about I mean, like different ticks and different things that, like I remember we had our like our movie night, and we just talked and we learned so much. And I mean, I'm still constantly learning, but I do definitely am so grateful for my mom for sort of, making me aware of the kids that she worked with growing up, and just making me realize that, like people with autism are no different than neurotypical people, or, able-bodied people. So, yeah.
Yeah. Um, with let's explain the movie night, because that was
Yeah.
that was a really great bonding event that happened with a bunch of the cast. I think it was Carson, who is also
I'm
plays an autistic
so,
character called Jeremy, and then
yes.
um, Lillian and you. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. I think it was
Did
Lillian
it?
and Carson started talking about how they wanted to expose
Mm-hmm.
um, pe- people to the in the cast and crew to different movies that had portrayed autism in the past, especially like
Yeah.
represented. And so we had this movie night um,
Yes.
with you where we watched a bunch of these movies, and I think I did a live stream where I talked about representation. And I talked about a lot of the movies that we watched.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
you guys can go watch that past episode if you want to see that
Heck
on
yeah.
representation. So we watched like the story of Luke and
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh,
And
Jane
then
wants a boyfriend.
Jane Wants a Boyfriend. That was the big
Mm-hmm.
one. Yes,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, that was. I loved Eliza Dushku growing up too. True Calling was like my favorite show ever. Um, and so to see her in that context too, um, I had never seen that movie before. And so even just like, I know that y'all were saying that it was like probably one of the most like formative movies like growing up
Mm-hmm.
for you, especially because there's so few women or girls on the
Mm-hmm.
spectrum that are portrayed on television and movies. So it was, yeah, it was kind of crazy growing up like that. I had never even really, I think my mom knew about it, but I had never even heard of it. So it was just really cool for you guys to like sort of let me in on that, and like include me in on that experience, and it made me understand a lot too, a lot more. And that also you guys related to the sense that she wasn't like a savant too. Like I think that was a huge thing that I
Mm-hmm.
also learned from this process, was that not every person portrayed on television has to, or in, in media in general, has to, with autism, has to have some sort of savant quality, or something that they hyper focus on that they're amazing at, so that was a big learning experience for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really cool. And you asked a lot of questions, and you were like really interested in the topic. So, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it was really cool. Like a lot of the cast and crew were, which was so it was so different. Like it was um really inclusive, and so I
Yeah.
and the story itself that um is going to be shown in January is also all of those things. Like the message
Yes.
in the show is like for real. They did
Yeah.
they followed those morals like when
Yes.
creating the show and from
Yeah.
every step through. And it was really cool getting to see that whole process. Because I make films and been on a bunch of like student films to professional films, and like nothing was as inclusive as that show really was. And for like not just autism, for a lot. Did you lose the sound? What happened? I don't know if you can hear me. Um, yeah, I can't hear you either. Dang. um, Okay, hopefully he comes back. Yeah, I couldn't hear him. um, so yeah, Adam's a really cool dude. So hopefully he comes back.
Check his
phone. Yeah.
Something on his phone.
I don't know.
Did you just see that?
You're behind. So yeah, Meredith says just got on it. I'm excited to see the show if possible. Don't have cable or special channels. It should be premiering on Hulu, which is a streaming site, around the same time as it's on Freeform, which is cable. Hi, you're back. Can you hear
I'm
me?
back. Yes, I can hear you. Yes. Yes.
Woo,
I'm
oh
back.
my God, Haley, you're back again.
Chloe, where's
Benji
Benji?
is somewhere on the couch.
Benji. Oh, I miss Benji.
Benji is
Miss
my
Benji.
service dog, in case you didn't know. He's he's normally on the couch over here, so he's probably still there. He might pop his head up.
Oh, he's so cute. I
Um,
love Benji. I miss coming out of the dressing room and seeing you and Chloe and Lily, or and Lily and you coming out and seeing you and
oh
Benji and
yeah,
Luke.
um,
Yeah.
yeah. When I'm on set and he's there, I call him the like morale booster, the cheerleader, because he just
Yes,
makes everyone happy and like
totally.
you know.
Happiest set I've ever been on, I have to say.
Yeah, and just because he's there, he's been thrown in a bunch of short films that I've just he's had cameos
Nice.
in a bunch of things. So yeah, Meredith is asking Chloe, was your role with Everything's Gonna Be Okay,
Mm.
and what was the easiest and hardest about it? So that's a really good question because I I don't know. So I don't know how any of it happened. Like, so I originally made Lillian's cast audition for the main character, which she ended up going to the final round against Kayla, who got the role, obviously, and um, she got a call that she didn't get the role, but was going to have a part written for her. And so when she went in for the reading, I got permission to go to one of the table reads, and I got permission to go to like one day on set. And um, and then a couple days in, Lillian told me she was having trouble with the animal wrangler, and I did a much better job because when I was there on set, I just was like, hey, noticed that Luke, her service dog, wasn't eating at the right time, so I just went and reminded her, or um, the Humane Society person. It was a different person every time. So I went and reminded that person that he needed to eat, and she's like, "Can you just do that job?" And I was like, "Yeah, I have any reason to be on set." And so she ended
Free
up
food, yeah.
talking to, I don't know who, someone really important, and was like, the animal wrangler isn't working for me, and they're like, oh yeah, we fired them. And she's like, well, can my sister do it? And they're like, yeah, but we can't pay her. And she's like, that's okay. And so that's how I ended up being able to go onto set. And then through there, I made friends with a bunch of people on set who let me like shadow them and do different things and be more part of doing things even, but I don't get credit for it, obviously. I'm not gonna get credit. So like, but it was like a cool kind of internship. So yeah, that's what I did. um and so Benji was there,
Benji.
and so the two service dogs on set, and so everyone was excited to see them. So So what was the easiest and hardest part about it? Going to part 2 of the question. The easiest part was because I've been doing film since middle school, I knew more about a lot of how film worked than Lillian, so she actually came to me with questions about things. And so she was really good at just befriending people instantly, and so she got me into all different things. She met the editors. She just walked down a hallway and found all the editors and started hanging out with them. And so she got to see
So good.
that no one else saw yet. And like just
So sick.
yeah, but I think the hardest part about it is just like the hours. Like I fell asleep on the car ride there and the car ride back a lot. I missed my live streams were either late or like at different times because I like fell asleep through them. I like live streamed a couple times in the car ride, and I was like trying to still do my live stream while doing that, which was just not a good idea. But yeah, it was just like, and I was just like taking it as much as I could because it's like a dream come true, and yeah, Lillian had a harder part with like the post-project depression where I was like, I know it's gonna end. Where she because I wasn't expecting to come back like every day that I came back, where she had more of an abrupt ending to that. But yeah, I think that answered your question.
Yeah, it was great. Yes.
We're getting some nice comments from Haley. Thank you for watching. Again, Haley started watching last week.
Oh, cool.
So
I love her.
She says she put a reminder for every Wednesday. Thank you for that.
Oh, yay. Go watch. Yeah.
Oh, she saw the TikTok of Alex and Lillian. Yes, okay. Let's not talk about that. So yes. So Haley says, thank you so much for watching my live stream. She did a live stream on Instagram that I watched, and
Sweet.
she wrote a story about Alex. And Alex was on the live stream last week. Alex Plank, who created Wrong Planet. She wrote a story about the Wrong Planet logo, Aspie, the alien, and Alex Plank, and she told it to us through a live stream. It was very well done. My favorite part was that how hard they worked on getting to the moon. Like they spent a good time building a rocket that they took to the moon. I'm very impressed that they were able to build a rocket. Oh, hi, my Jacob. It was very nice meeting you.
I'm gonna grab my charger really quickly. I'll be right back.
Okay. Take down what? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, thank you for all your questions and comments. I will try to answer them. I don't like saying so much. Sorry. Oh, hi Danny. Hi Emily. I'm not seeing that. Probably because I'm on BeLive and not Facebook. But hi Auntie Bunny. Hi Grammy. Hi Auntie Missy. I'm here with Adam Faison. He just went to get a charger for his phone. He's an actor that's going to be on Everything's Gonna Be Okay.
Got it. Woo! Okay, back in business. Didn't want to die.
Welcome back. I was just just seeing in case people have just joined. So I'm going to. Uh, hi, Auntie Bunny.
Oh, that's sweet.
uh, yeah. So, so I one of the great things about the show is the authentic representation, and you also have authentic representation. You're part in the show. Would you like to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess what's really cool is my character Alex, he's gay, and then in real life I'm also gay as well. I would say, queer, but whatever have you, part of the queer community. And yeah, it's been really cool because he also I think more and more like he became sort of like Adam, and then I became more like Alex, and it kind of like fused this funny line like. So Josh really kind of liked it when I would put in my weird quirks and my Adam isms into Alex, and so it was kind of a weird way they informed each other in like more ways than like I thought that we'd ever inform each other, I guess. So it's been cool, and it's also kind of refreshing a little bit to not kind of have to. I think for some roles you kind of have to like. I guess for lack of a better term, sort of like police behaviors that you do. Like, so, for every different role, I kind of have to assume a different type of position. If I'm like a sort of a more of a deadpan nerd, there's this sort of, isms that come along with that, or I have to sort of play more of yeah, like a bro, then there's also isms that come along with that. But this one was kind of cool because I could kind of just be authentically, kind of like you were saying, myself, and I felt it was a really cool experience to be able to just sort of embrace who I was, and that Alex was sort of, I guess, written with my voice in mind, which has never really happened for a character. I think every other role up until this point is very much like I'm in the show, but I'm basically stepping into a pre-existing character. But this one was sort of written on the page for the pilot, and then they created it around me, just sort of like they did with your with Chloe's character. I mean, excuse me, with Lillian's character. So yeah, I think that was the really cool part about it, was just kind of being able to embrace that, and I'm excited to see the full product, to see the whole series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of stories I want to tell later on, like because now it would be spoilers where like they called Lillian and asked her up different questions. Like all the writers like would just call her, ask her questions, and like put
She
in
was the
all these different
go-to.
stories that actually happened and put it into her
Wow.
character. I mean, her character
Wow.
is so far removed from who she is like that, but there's
Wow.
different like very subtleties.
Hmm.
Um, and like from her costume, like how they chose different items had to do with stories that she told from like that actually happened.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
Small things like that to as to like actual dialogue. It's like
Yes. Dude,
um,
I'm really excited for people to see that too in the show and see how authentic it is and those little uniquities that you guys provided them. Because I think those were like a bunch of the comments were people just being like, I hope these stories are being told authentically, or that, like X, Y, and Z. And then yeah, with how much input that you all gave them, I think it's going to be really exciting for people to see that authentic representation.
yeah, there's it's it's really well done. Like I was like actually really nervous when she got the role that that after that he was sending the script. Like we're gonna send you the script to look it over and for like the next part of the audition. And I was like so afraid I was gonna hate the character. Like
Yes.
it's
Oh
not.
gosh.
I'm like, you're gonna play an autistic character that I hate the representation. Like I'm so worried.
Yes.
And I read the script and I was like, this is like the most amazing representation. I like fell in love. I
Yes.
was like, oh my god.
Yes. Yeah, dude, you don't know, but like all of the characters, particularly the ones with autism too, they all just come to life. Like,
Mhm.
and it's
And there's like
exciting,
one of
multidimensional.
the things I worried about was like, are they gonna make it flat? Like the only thing about this character is
Is there
it's
autism?
good, and
Yeah.
we're focused on the what rather than the why.
Ooh, love that.
You know,
Focus on the why rather
that's
than the
the
what.
thing. That's something I talk about a lot because even people do that to us in real life. So like
Yes.
I've had therapists and I've had like so many people who like took things that like me being a teenager and being like that's just related to your autism, or like I'm like
hmm
crying or throwing a fit. Oh, that's just a tantrum related to autism. Like that, there's a reason.
Yeah, yeah, but coming to the crux of it, it may be
Yeah.
like like the autism may be a catalyst for it or something, but what was the original, like, yeah,
Mhm.
aggressor, yeah, or the thing that was, yeah, creating that. You're right.
And
Yeah.
so a lot of shows tend to do that. And there's even like I shows that I watch where like different episodes do that. um,
Yeah. I saw
and
that you guys just, did you watch The Good Doctor last week? Was that what I saw you guys
yeah,
posted about?
yes. So that was a really cool experience.
That
So I
looks
went
so
out.
cool.
So if you guys follow me on social media, I posted on Instagram that I was at a Good Doctor viewing. That was because my friend Alex, who was on last week, was in an episode written by Brian Shin. Last season, he played Javi, and is one of like the most liked episodes on The Good Doctor because it was
Wow.
written so well and the representation was so great. And so he invited Alex to to view his episode this season,
Wow.
um, and Alex somehow was able to sneak me a million into that.
Oh,
Um,
wow, wow.
so so he got permission for Lillian to go and went. Well, I'm just gonna take you and see what happens.
Heck yeah.
so so yeah, I got to see the new episode and see the actors, the guest actors that were not the main actors, who were in that
Was it
episode.
Hayden, right? Is that so?
Yeah,
Was it? Oh my
um,
gosh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
He's a great
the
actor.
writer, and he's just. I was trying to compliment him, and he like couldn't take the compliment. It was like I told him like you write autism so well, and he was like, "Oh no, no, it's because we have all these consultants and we have an autistic writer." And I'm like, "But he utilized them,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no."
Yes. It's like you can have all of them, tell you everything to the end of the day, and you could still write something that's totally out of touch, but there's something to be said about taking
Mhm.
all those moments and pieces of advice and actually putting them to good use.
So if you haven't seen the Good Talk Doctor, the episode from this season, I think it's called Incomplete. Please go watch it. It was it's so well done. And it explores a lot. I think a lot of the things that also are going to be explored, and everything's going to be okay. Where you see Sean is exploring relationships, exploring sex, exploring his job, exploring so many things beyond just his autism, and so you get to see a lot of him, and why a lot of those things are scary or not scary, versus the difference you'll see in why a neurotypical might be more react differently to those situations. And they have, you know, comparisons because they have so many characters. So they have, these neurotypical couples, and then they have him, and so you can see the difference. And so I think it's really cool how they
Mhm.
have done that. And so yeah, that's
So
what
go
I
watch it.
watch it. Yeah, it
Yes,
was
yes.
very well. That episode was really well done.
Heck yeah.
I have to admit, I haven't been watching The Good Doctor so much because it's been hard for me to watch. But those episodes have been great and very positive toward the autism community
That's
that
awesome.
Ryan has written, and I hope he gets to write more next season.
Me too. Me too.
Um, yeah. So Liz Haley is writing a lot of things. Chloe, do you watch Atypical? I haven't watched
Mhm.
it so much. I've heard about things that have happened in the newer seasons, and I think William watches it. Um, yeah, I had trouble relating to his character. Not that his character is it Max? I'm blanking on the name of his character.
Max is from
Not Max. I don't know. The I just don't relate to his character so much, but I know he's um um I know his character exists on the spectrum, and that but for me he's just
Yep. No,
Sam. Yeah,
obviously I was gonna
I
relate.
knew it
Yep.
was. Yeah, it was Sam. Thank you, Haley. um, yeah, I wish they had more characters on the spectrum and
Hmm.
explored more differences and um, just made it the world of autism a little bit more complete. Yeah, but I have, and I also have other problems with the show that have nothing to do with autism. um,
That's the director in you.
but like, if you love the show, then watch it. Like,
Yeah.
it's just not my favorite show. And it has nothing to do with autism, which sucks. But like, um, thank you for that question. Do you watch any of those shows?
I watched the pilot of The Good Doctor, and my best friend Alyssa she just did a guest star on it. It's like maybe last couple weeks ago. Like it's gonna air probably, I don't know, probably like in the next couple months or so. So I'm gonna obviously watch that. And I've never actually seen Atypical, but yeah, but my friend Madison, she loves it. She was just talking about it yesterday with me, and she was saying that she really liked the show. So, maybe I'll go give it a watch. But yeah, I like secretly, I don't actually watch a lot of television. I'm saying this secretly unless we're on a live stream. I actually don't watch that much TV. I listen to a lot of podcasts, so that's like kind of my thing. Is like I love like NPR News Now and like the Daily and Vox's Today Explained. Like I love podcasts because I can listen to them when I'm like running around like a crazy chicken with its head cut off. Yeah.
Um,
I'm trying
see,
to watch more
I don't
TV
know
though.
a lot of podcasts, but I was on a podcast called Mentality, all about mental
Ooh,
health, and
wow, I love that.
I'm not an auditory person. I'm more visual, but
Got it.
I after doing an episode, I started listening to a few of them, and I love that podcast.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay,
Yeah,
mentality. Okay.
yeah. They
Okay,
drink
okay.
tea and talk about mental health. Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
so
That's the tea,
that's
girl.
for
Okay.
example.
Oh, wow. Mm. Yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to that. That sounds good. Let's talk about
And
mental
they
health.
both hosts, Light and Camera. I love their names.
Oh,
have, have been
wait,
on.
those are their names?
Yeah,
Whoa.
Camera was born with the name Camera, um, and Light changed his name. So like I met him. His name
Mm.
was Zach,
So
and
it could
he
be
changed it
more
to Light.
closely kindred to his sister.
Yep.
Is his sister Camera? And then
No,
he's
they're
oh,
just
they're
friends.
just friends. Okay, they're just friends, but they've got that kinship. They've got the
Yeah.
and then they
Um,
need a friend named Action, so maybe you can
yeah.
change your name.
And
I
they
love
both
that though. No,
have,
that's amazing. I'm gonna listen to that. That's good. I
yeah,
love podcasts.
they're fun people. Um, yeah, and they both talked about their stories on my live stream and on their podcast. So I don't want to
Heck
ruin
yeah.
it. So go, they're
Okay.
fun people. So go listen or watch those episodes. I'm like recommending you to go stop watching me and watch other things.
That's
um,
sweet though. Yes, very selfless. Very selfless.
um, and I think I'm trying to remember. We had some conversation where we told you, was it Lillian told you like what echolalia was, and then you realized that you had
That
it.
I have it. I have that. I very much have that. It's where, you start picking up on people's voices around you, right? That you've been around for a while,
Mhm.
and then you start copying them. I do that all the time. And I do it with Josh,
Yeah,
which you know. Yes. So, yeah, sometimes he'll be like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I don't know. Sure, and it'll go like that. Yeah. And so I was doing there was this live recap, or this Hulu recap thing that we have to do for each episode when the show comes out, and then they heard me do it and were like, "Oh my God, you have to narrate one of the recaps in Josh's voice." So I for probably 5-10 minutes, I'm literally just speaking like Josh, and with him right next to me. So I was like, crap, if I get it wrong, I'm totally screwed because he's right here next to me, the man himself. So, but he approved. Towards the end, it started kind of faltering, as some accents do, without a lot of practice and consistency. But he got a kick out of it, and I appreciate you guys telling me about that echolalia thing. I do that all the
um,
time.
yeah. I remember, and because we talked about that, but I didn't connect the echolalia, and I was um talking to Lillian about your lisp, and she's like, Adam doesn't have a lisp, and I was like, but every time I talk to him, he has a lisp, and she's like, no, you have a lisp, and he has echolalia, and I was like, duh,
Wait, do I copy your lisp?
you do.
What? Wait, that's so weird. I don't even know that I do that.
And I
But
had a much bigger one when we were doing the show, because I had literally just had my teeth taken out. I had
wow.
teeth on the roof of my mouth, which is why
I'm
I have.
even I'm literally
I
even echoing you right now in my body behavior. It's kind of crazy. I was I noticed I was started going like this, and I was like, okay, stop putting it. Wow. But you just had gotten did you say
Yeah,
surgery here?
yeah. I had teeth in the roof of my mouth, and
Oh. Mm.
which is why I had the lisp in the palate, so right in the center of my mouth. I had a tooth there,
Wow.
and so my tongue was avoiding that, and so I couldn't do certain sounds like that.
Sounds. Wow.
Because the S, I actually looked up how you perform the S sound properly, so that
Whoa.
there's two different ways to do it. One where you put your tongue on the roof of your mouth, and one where you put it against your teeth here. And I
S
couldn't do either of them without
S.
hitting that tooth. So I had a list. And so now I'm trying to practice my S
Oh
sound.
my God. Whoa. I didn't even think about where the tongue is placed in that. I haven't
Yeah.
thought about that since college when we were
Well, because I
we
have
have
to
to
think
learn that.
about it to, so that, because I continued the tooth was still there. So I had to think about
Wow.
making the
It's
S
like a it's
sound.
like your body was overcompensating and it wasn't even there anymore. It's like
Yeah.
phantom limbs or something.
Because it would scrape my tongue. So,
Wow.
I had a thicker list then because I wasn't practicing as much, and
Mm.
especially when you're tired, you don't think about that stuff. And we were like, it was long hour
Yeah.
days. And
Long hour days.
um,
That's the
and
last thing.
yeah, so I remember that that happening.
That's
Really,
really funny.
would have a list,
Wow.
and
I did
it
not even know.
it was after we finished the shooting that I talked about it with I forget why it came up, but I said something about um your husband. It's like he doesn't have
He
one.
doesn't have one. Like, let's literally go back and watch the clips. He does not have any. She's in the editing bay, like, see, he doesn't have one. That's so funny. That's really goofy.
Oh.
Mm.
And I was like, oh yeah, we talked about his echolalia. I remember you reading, helping Kayla do her lines, and you were playing Josh, and you got Josh's voice like so perfectly that we all
Oh
like
my
just stopped
gosh.
for a second, and we're like, whoa.
He hates to admit that I'm good at it. He hates it. But I am, yeah, I feel like I've mastered it probably better than, I don't know,
Well, and you
most
spent
people
the
that
most
spend a lot of
time with him because you had the most scenes with him too.
right?
Like,
Yeah. Now that I think about it, yeah, most of my scenes were with him and most of his scenes were with me. Like he has some with
yeah.
the kid, like with Kayla and Maeve, but for the most part, like, they're off hanging out with y'all, so in the show, or you know,
Mhm.
Lillian and the doggies and everybody and all the little girls, the girlfriends. Yeah.
Uh, all right. If anyone has any questions for, we've got like 20 minutes left.
Oh my God, I don't know if I can last 20 minutes, but if anybody's got some questions, my throat has kind of been
So,
really intense.
yeah, is there anything else you can talk about that you're working on?
Let's see. So I've got a Hulu show called Into the Dark coming out December 27th. So that's it's an anthology series, so each episode is a standalone. And in this one, there's a group of friends, and they all go in on a house every New Year's Eve, and they have to get a midnight kiss before the clock strikes midnight. And then there's a killer amongst us, and we have to figure out who it is before we all are murdered. And then I'm working on a movie next week. Actually, I'm really excited about called Yes Day with Jennifer Garner. That's going to be out on Netflix, I think, next year. And it's about her and her family, and she basically has to say yes to her family for 24 hours. Or like, she has to do something for them. So yeah, it should be pretty cool. I'm excited to work with her. I feel like I've been watching her since I was a kid, 13 going on 30, and like Daredevil were some of my favorites. So I'm excited to work on that. Yeah, and then mostly just press for everything's gonna be okay. This is great. We're getting in the trenches already with some of these questions, which is good. So it's gonna be hopefully an exciting year.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're doing so many things.
I know it is busy. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, that's what I was saying about the chicken with the head cut off. Because sometimes I'm like, yeah, but it's fun. It's all good stuff. It's I forgot it was either I was talking to you or your sister, but it is great when the work pays off and like you go to school and you study and or you just put in the hours doing it, and then finally when this stuff starts paying off, it's really exciting, so I'm enjoying the journey and I'm along for the ride.
Yeah, I remember everyone talking about like their audition process and how many auditions they went on. And William was like, "This was my first ever audition."
That is amazing. Oh my gosh. And then after, when she was messaging me about a curious incident in the dog and of the dog in the nighttime and that whole process
Oh my
too,
God.
that is so awesome. But it's like, I think it just takes making fans like that in casting offices. And I
Mhm.
mean, it's just, she's gonna just keep making more fans, and then people will be like, oh, maybe you don't book the room, but you book the job. They remember you, and then they bring you in for more projects. So, yeah, I'm excited for this show to come out and like see how many people just take to Lillian's character too, I'm really
Mhm.
excited about that.
Yeah. And like
Should be
Lily and
cool.
Carson have become such good friends, which makes
Oh,
me
yay! I love
um
that.
so like posting on the social media, and they both don't have a bunch of followers, but I'm sure when the show comes out, like that'll blow up.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see like what
yes.
the reaction is gonna be to like
Yeah,
their
you should like film them on just waking up to like, 2,000 new followers or something. And they're like, oh my God, they love me. They really love me. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, social media doesn't, it means some things, but
Yeah,
it's not the world.
because
Um,
for like the past year or two, I've been like in the autism community. Lillian calls me the famous one because I do the live stream and I do like all these
uh,
things where you see my face and you don't really see her face,
that's
and
so funny.
and so like I'll show up to events and people like know who I am or they've been
Whoa.
for me, and I'm like that's not gonna be the case for much
That's
longer.
gonna be the
You're
shoe's
gonna
gonna
be
be on the other foot
the
now. That's so funny. That'll be a trend.
um because I think I have a lot of followers because I have like 400 followers on Facebook and like she
Yeah.
has 20. And
So
I'm
it's, yeah, maybe it's the live streams and all the interactions. Like when if you build it, they will come, as they say.
mhm.
There
Yeah,
we
it
go.
it's been a fun journey doing this live stream, and like I
Heck yeah.
like once in a while it blows up like crazy and I don't know why, and I get thousands of views and other, but like
That's
consistently
awesome.
it's like 300 views, which I think is very good, but
That's
like
awesome. That's so cool. That's so dope. Yeah, I feel like it's like, once you have the consistent sort of schedule too, I think
yeah,
it makes it really helpful for people to be able. I know that's like a huge YouTube
yeah,
sort of
but
rule,
like
is
my
like they have
favorite
to do
part
it.
is I get to meet all these really cool people.
Yeah, yeah. It seems
Like
like you
talk
have.
to people. When I meet someone, I'm like, I do a live stream. You want to be a guest? And then we become friends. And then like,
That's awesome. Yeah, so everybody's doing each other's live
yeah.
stream. It's amazing. That's so
Um,
awesome.
yeah, it's really cool. So Haley asked, "What did you do today?"
Love that. Love that.
So Adam, what did you do today?
Oof, today I woke up and I went to my workout class for this next role that I have to do, because I have to be shirtless and maintain the 8 pack. So yep, shirtless and everything's gonna be okay. Shirtless and the next two projects as well. So this has never happened to me in my life before, but I'm trying to prepare for it accordingly. So yeah, I got that this morning, and then I went to lunch with my friend David. He's a casting director for like Riverdale and like a lot of the CW shows like Supergirl and Flash and Arrow. And so we went to lunch because I help from time to time at his casting office. So I was just catching up and seeing how everything's going, and then yeah, and then I planned a lot for sort of just publicity coming up. Some of the stuff next week, in the next couple weeks, I was talking to my publicist and manager and just planning out how the next couple weeks and months are gonna be. So just, yeah, a lot of just, kind of random things, but it was a fun, productive day. And now I'm doing this.
Um,
What'd you
yeah,
do today?
I have today I did a bunch of stuff to prepare for moving out to my own place.
That's right. Woo
Yeah,
woo. Yeah, I got
yeah,
that
me,
text. Woo.
and
Yeah,
another
babes.
friend of ours are finally moving out, and we're so excited. So
Woo.
at
Y'all
television.
independent.
And
What's it called?
we were looking at televisions, and
Ooh.
mainly because we want to watch the show on a very nice
Heck
television.
yeah. Yes. As you should. Y'all deserve
Um,
it.
and so I was like, Lillian, do you like this TV? Because your face is gonna be on it.
You better like how it looks on
Maybe
there.
we need
Yeah.
something smaller.
Oh my God, that's so funny. That's really good.
um, so yeah, that is what I did today. So I like packed a suitcase full of stuff and brought it to my new house, and like yeah,
Uh,
did a bunch
that's
of
awesome.
stuff for the house.
Congrats. Congrats on the house. That's so awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yay. It's always great to have something that, like, you can call your own and,
Mhm.
make your own way.
I like a lot of my friends and family now know I have that house, even though I'm not living there. So like when I am now inviting people over, I have to say my parents' house, which I haven't had to say before. Instead of
Wow.
my house, so they
Whoa.
don't go to, they don't get confused.
That must be so fast. You're so right. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, I say my mom's house now or like my
Right?
dad's. Yeah. That's so funny. Wow. That's gonna be great. That's awesome. Congrats.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so we're getting down to the end of the hour. So if you guys have any final comments, questions, please let us know. Um, go check out Everything's Gonna Be Okay
Woo!
everything Adam is up to on social media.
Real.
Stay in the know. And
Yeah,
come
I'll
back.
keep you updated as much as I can on everything. Yes. And if you guys are in San Francisco in January 13th, I think that they're going to have a screening of Everything's Going to Be Okay if anybody's in San Francisco on the live stream. And I think they're doing screenings and stuff as the months come along. So hopefully we can it's get all those on social media and stuff. We're all really good at reposting that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Um, yeah, so thanks for coming on.
Yes, thank you for having me. This was awesome.
Yeah, thank you for telling all your stories.
Heck yeah. Woo. Yes, and echolalia for life.
Yeah.
Woo. Okay. Well, thanks so much. Y'all have a good night. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Yeah. Check out autism.com. Check out the calendar for all our upcoming events. Come back next week, Wednesdays at 7. I do these live streams. I don't know who the guest will be next week. But it'll be fun. It's always a great time. I love how interactive you guys were this week. Keep that up. All your questions
Woo.
and comments. Yeah, thank you guys for watching and stay colorful.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.